3, 2, 1. We are live.
Hello and welcome to the Bennetts Life podcast. Today we are going to be talking about the teaching profession and being a teacher, since that's what I am currently doing with my life.
What it's like to be in a classroom all day long with a lot of kids.
Yeah. So I've been a teacher for about a month now, I guess. And I'm not really sure if it's for me. That's a truth bomb.
Well, she's been a full-time teacher for a month.
Yeah.
You've substituted on and off for years.
Yeah. So I've been substituting probably since like 2012. But this is my first year being a full-time teacher, first grade, which maybe it's just, it's not the kids. That's not why I'm not sure about being a teacher, because I enjoy being with the kids. And when I was a substitute, I did all the grade levels. So I started with kinder and I worked my way all the way up to high school. And there's not been like a grade where I was like, oh, I hate this grade, except for like middle school, which I like tried to avoid. And yes, kindergarten, because they're just still like babies, like they're still pretty needy. So when I thought about being a teacher, I was like, what grade do I think I would want to teach? And I kind of like just defaulted into elementary, because that's what I thought like would be easiest to get my certificate in, because in high school you kind of have to have like a specialty, like you're teaching a subject, and I didn't feel like I was knowledgeable enough on any one subject, except for like maybe like PE. And there's not a lot of like open PE jobs. So I thought that elementary school would be like the easiest. And then, I didn't want to do middle school because I don't like that age child. They're just kind of like jerks then around there.
How old are they in middle school?
Basically like 11 to 13 or 11 to, yeah.
That's not fun.
Yeah. Like the little preteens, So I was like, no, not really into that. So I went to elementary school. Then in elementary school, obviously that's a wide range. That's from kinder to 5th grade. And I was kind of I was hoping to be in the higher grades, like somewhere between like 3rd to 5th, I would say. But I was really looking at 3rd to 4th grade. And then I found a school that I really liked, and it was a K-2. And so I was like, okay, like, I guess if I was hoping for a 3rd grade, 2nd grade is kind of like not that bad because it's just the year before. And then when I got into the position, they actually asked if I could go down to kinder, which I could not do because I'm not getting basically like a special thing for kindergarten, like an endorsement. So I ended up in 1st grade, which is like a few years younger than I wanted, but, just you roll with the punches. So now fast forward to 1 month in, and I just don't know if teaching is and it's more like I don't know if it's the right choice for our family. It's not just for me. So sorry, our son is like needing help. What do you want? I enjoy the kids, and the main thing with teaching is that it's not enough money. That is the actual bottom of the line problem, is that for the amount of work that you have to do and the things that you have to put up with, you don't get paid enough. And maybe you do get paid enough if you've been teaching for 15 plus years, because then you're at the top of the pay scale. And this is solely my experience is public school in I think we're the largest district in Tucson. So, public school, 1st year teacher, and it's just not enough pay. And I feel like for the amount of time that I put in and stuff, like I could be substituting and almost making the same amount of money. And so this is like, I know a lot of things, but like the pay isn't enough because of the amount of money that's being taken out of my check. So if I wasn't getting like almost 40% of my check taken out, it would be enough money, because it's basically the same amount of money I was making when I was coaching volleyball in Seattle, and we were living like fine off that. And Seattle is an expensive city. So, There's no reason why, if I'm making basically the same amount of money here in Tucson, which is a lot cheaper to live, that we shouldn't be living fine off of it, but we're not. And that's because they take so much out. It's ridiculous. So that's where my issues lie, basically, with teaching.
Well, and Casey also went a roundabout way to get into teaching as well. It's not like she studied at college and went and got her degree in teaching. She got a degree in mind reading or something.
Sociology.
And then she ended up being a volleyball coach for the most part, right? Since we've been back in America, you were at Oregon State and then Seattle, and then ended up substituting in Tucson before we left, and then ended up substituting when we came back to Tucson. And then I guess
a lot of the principals were asking me, oh, well, do you want to be a teacher? Because we always need teachers, blah, blah, blah.
And then they ended up putting her onto this course. So she's actually back at school as well,
right,
which is costing money also.
The other thing is that I have to pay to do my online school, and I have to put in 15 to 20 hours of online school a week in addition to being a teacher. So that's kind of like also adds to the negative experience that I'm having. But also, now an additional thing is the money, is the class size. Like, it's crazy that I'm in a situation where it's me, a brand new, not even I wouldn't even call myself a teacher because I didn't go to school to be a teacher. I haven't done like my, what do you call it, like student teaching. So basically observing a teacher in the classroom, like actually teaching, and then like learning like, oh, this is how you handle these situations, and then practicing that. I haven't done that. So I'm just in there with 28 first graders. Just me, a normal person with 28 first graders. So it's hard. And it's like,
and she's expected to make them pass.
And I need, and they're supposed to like, not just like, I'm not just babysitting them and making sure they're safe and they're staying alive and not killing each other. Like, I have to have them learn things as well. And that's where the trouble comes in. And so I need help. And there's no reason that the class sizes should be 1 to 28. For first grade. Like, and maybe in high school that's fine because they've been in school for like 10 years and they know how things work, but they're still learning like how to behave, and they're still learning like how to be in school, and it's just crazy. I need I should have a full-time aide basically.
Yeah, fingers crossed by the time you guys hear this podcast, you might not be a teacher anymore.
It's crazy. So that's where my issues come in. So with that, like, I should be getting paid like, you know, I'm doing society a service by growing little humans to be well behaved and hopefully become good people. And this is like the future of our country. And, you know, you get what you pay for. So if you're paying for shit teachers, then you're going to get shit people out of it. That's basically my point.
There's obviously looking at Casey's paychecks, and I imagine there's a lot of first year teachers that are in the same boat. Like 6 and 2 3s. If people go study to become a teacher, I can see why they have passion to do this. So maybe they'll like just look a little bit away from the money because they know in years they're going to make this career. In 20 years' time, they'll be making better money.
Yeah.
And then so you're a little bit different in that sense, that this isn't like a lifelong passion for you to pursue. It's just a job, and it's become more and more obvious. Like, for example, what's that burger place here in town? In-N-Out. Casey could work at In-N-Out Burger the same amount of hours and bring more money home than she could being a teacher to first grades. That's mind-blowing.
And like, some days I would prefer to be making burgers than with the kids.
It's just mind-blowing, though.
I like burgers more than I like these kids.
How can the government, or whatever protocol you have to get paid through, like the TUSD, how can they justify someone flipping burgers making more money than someone molding the minds of first graders?
Yeah.
How are you not on?
It makes me want to
50,
build
60, 70,000
anarchy army of first graders.
Just to rebel.
Yes.
I think it's a tough position to be in, especially if this is not your lifelong passion. There's a difference. Like, I'm not a teacher, but I do coach soccer here in America. So I am teaching a skill, but I'm not. It's obviously not in the classroom. But I enjoy doing that. You know, it's something that I really get kicks out of. I like seeing a kid being at stage 1 to stage 2, and I enjoy doing it. And actually, I get paid better per the hour than Casey does to teach somebody like science, maths, English. And I'm teaching someone how to kick a ball around a field, and I'm making like between 50 and $100 an hour.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, like, I understand, like, oh, you pay your dues, and then, like, in the end, like, towards the end of your career, you're making enough money where it, like, is suitable or whatever, you know, like, where you can live off of it. But, like, how do you expect people to ever make it to that point if you're paying them peanuts in the first years? Like, I don't even want to, like, I was ready to go after like the first paycheck. Yes, I was like, this is ridiculous. There's no way I am surviving off of this money. And
well,
then,
how much
like,
are you
and it's like it's not like this is like a rare thing. Like, it's the norm, and all the people know this. So I'm like, why are you putting up with it? You know, and like, oh, we'll stay for the kids. Like, sorry, but at some point your family is more important, and like all the teachers need to join together and say, like, you know what,
strike,
we're not doing this if you don't like actually give us the money that you say you're going to give us. Like, if you say you're going to pay me $35,000, then I would like to see, I know obviously like some taxes, but like 40% of my check missing, 40% is basically 50%. So that's a joke.
So if you're meant to get 35 a year, you're bringing home what, 16, 17 grand? Bringing home.
Yeah, like 18. It's ridiculous.
It's nuts. That is nuts, considering you're probably just making a little bit more. Well, a little bit more in Seattle than that?
I was making, yeah, like $1,000 more.
36,000
I was
a year?
getting like $2,400 a month. So
yeah. So that's closer to 30 than you're on right now.
Yes.
Like,
and if we were actually bringing home closer to $30,000, like, we would be fine, you know, but like, stupid.
And there's also the other side of it. Like, the financial side is a kicker. Like, it's like already not enjoying it, and then someone kicking you in the nuts. It's like, oh, here you go work in hell.
Yes,
and then
that's the thing. Like, okay, I'm not getting paid a lot of money, but then when I'm at my job, like, it's rainbows and butterflies, and everything's fine, and the kids are awesome, and my situation is great, and everything's like perfect. But that's not the case. Like, when I am at school, I'm like, this is hell, and it's not the kids' fault. It is not the kids' fault.
Some of the kids have bad house training.
Yeah, it's the parents' fault for making their kids not have, like, good behavior. But, like, even then, I understand, like, you get to school and you're with, like, 28 of your friends and only one, like, teacher. Like, you're going to try and, like, have fun and, like, get away with things. And they're in first grade, so they don't know that school's not, like, supposed to be, like, a fun time, that it's, like, their learning time. But
so how long would, and I'm speaking to the people that are listening right now, if you were in this situation, you're 35 a year is what you're meant to make, and then you're bringing home 17, 18, how many years would you do that for, you know, for the amount of hours? And
how many years? Let's talk about how many months are you willing to do that for?
And it's not it's not even just being in the classroom, you know, it's everything that comes with it. Like, she's in the classroom from 8 till 3:30 every day, but she's there early. She stays there late. Like, and then it affects our family life, like dropping the kid off and then picking the kid up.
Right. And us not seeing each other because we're on opposite schedules.
So I think the conclusion of this little experiment of you being a full-time teacher is we're not doing this again.
Well, and my mentor was telling me, like, oh, yeah, well, when my kids were young, when I was just first starting teaching, like, I worked a second job. So she was doing, like, hostessing, and she was doing bartending. And so, like, she was...
So then when did you get to be a mom?
Working. Yeah. Well, like, she was having her kids... They were with her, I think she said, like, her in-laws or with, like, the dad, you know, and then she, like, so they were never seeing each other because on the weekends, like, she changed it. So she would have the kids in the evening and then she would work on the weekends. That's crazy. I'm like, and she was like, it was like this, like, we were opposite schedules for, like, the first, like, 5 to 7 years. And I was like,
that's not
there's no way we would do this.
And here's something that maybe wasn't common knowledge, and it wasn't common knowledge till Casey until I found it out about somebody else that is a teacher. Right now in the district that she works in, if she was wanting to leave the position she's currently in, she has to pay the district to get out of her contract. So she would have to work to save money to quit.
Well, they make it so that you can only do it either before school starts, you have to quit, which I would we've definitely thought about, but I was like, I don't know if I feel comfortable. Like, I don't like quitting things. I like to finish them. And I felt stupid for quitting something before I even started it, which that now was probably the better option, to quit before I even had started it. But they do it so you don't quit in the middle of the year, or you don't quit after the first, like, week or two. Because I imagine if there wasn't that $2,000 thing, there'd be a whole lot of teachers who were like, you know what, I'm not doing this, I'm not putting up with this, I'm out. And then they would have to, like, fill a bunch of positions right in the beginning of the year. So they say you can only leave at the end of a semester So like halfway through the school year. So I think that is our plan. We shall see. Which I feel bad about. I don't like leaving. And like my school has tried to make the situation better for me. Like, but I don't know. I don't want to say that like they could be doing more, but I feel like they could be doing more. And but it's not their fault. They can't make my paycheck bigger, but they could make my class size smaller or like make sure that I have an aide. But like, again, if they, and who knows if they can or they can't, I just think that this is something that they should be able to do. But if they can't like pay for an aide, like they're not in charge of the money, you know, the district is. So if the district says, no, you can't have an aide, then you can't have an aide. But I feel like we have enough extra people at our school, which is why I chose this school, because we have a lot of support staff that some of them could be helping more, like taking out the kids and, you know, I don't know. Or maybe they think, oh, she's doing fine. But I'm like,
do you ever sit in the classroom with the 28 kids and enjoy it? Are you ever sat there with like a smile on your face, like, oh, I enjoy doing this? Are you always just counting down the clock?
Yes, when we're outside on the playground.
But the rest of the time you just sat there looking at the clock.
Or like not even on the playground, but sometimes I take them outside and we run around on the field and I'm like, oh, this is nice. Like they're just like, they're carefree and they're just looking at chasing butterflies and stuff. Like literally they chase butterflies.
But I mean, the actual teaching side of things when you're in the classroom.
No, I hate it. I hate it.
And
it's awful. It's awful because they're not behave well. Like if I could just teach a lesson and they were all like engaged and like interested and listening, but I have to be so much of the time is spent like, George, stop talking. Sarah, stop talking.
And I imagine if you had actually trained to be a teacher, these are things that you'd be able to do better, like to get them more engaged and to control them better, you know?
Yeah.
Some of them are just going to be little shits, but some of them, maybe there is teaching tactics or something,
right,
you know, like little tips and tricks that you would learn through college.
Yeah. Or when I'm being a student teacher and I'm watching the teacher, you know, like I would be like, oh, this is what you should do. Or,
that works, yeah. Like,
right.
And even setting up your classroom, like, oh, that's where this goes, and instead of just winging it.
Yep.
Well, it's an experiment. That's what it's been.
Yeah.
It's, we do a lot of things and we have to learn trial by error.
Trial run.
Yeah.
And this trial was a
fail. But we'll learn from this. We won't put ourselves in this situation again, and we're working hard to get out of it. We know that Casey, this is how bad it is. She's made a countdown of how many days she's got to teach. She's on like 70 days until Christmas break, and then we're not going back.
Yeah, I feel bad, but my happiness is more important than the happiness of
your happiness. If we had to do this for years,
our happiness.
If we had to do this for years, you wouldn't have a husband.
And that's the main thing. Like, it's like my family's happiness. Like, because I could keep doing it. I could keep pushing through the struggle. But, like, when I have to come home to a husband who's, like, not happy about our situation and, like, things that I'm doing, I'm like, this is not worth it, you know? So
I just think all the time you're spending with other people's kids is time that you could be spending with your own.
Yeah.
I'm with me. All right. That's the end of that one. Being a teacher, don't do it, basically.
Well, do it if you're single and if you don't care about money and you've actually gone to school and want to do this for life.
If your only thing in your life is...
But I don't want to do this for life. I never have found a job yet where I'm like, I could do this for the rest of my life. Besides YouTube, I do enjoy YouTube. But...
We'll do this for the rest of our life.
Not like an actual like 9-to-5 working for the man job. I haven't found one where I'm like, oh, this is just the best job ever, and I'm so passionate about this.
It's because we're millennials.
Yeah, so not for me. Sorry, kiddos.
All right, thank you for watching. Make sure that you go hit us up on our website, talking about being on YouTube full time. That would help us out. Go check out our blog, our latest videos, basically anything that you want to keep up to date with. We've got a store there. We just launched our coffee line. We've been home roasting coffee beans, and they're delicious.
Chris is obsessed.
Yeah, he has an addiction. It started off where I just drink a lot of coffee, and I'm like, you know what? I should make my own coffee. Then I did. Then it was nice, and I was like, damn. So 1 pound bags available on lovejamesmarie.com, www.lovejamesmarie.com. Go buy your coffee from us. We'll send it to you. It's nice. All right.
Or buy a pillow and some tapestries.
Yeah.
If you're not into coffee like me.
Everybody's into coffee.
I'm not into coffee.
She's into iced coffee.
You might have a point there. Sometimes I do enjoy coffee. Iced with a lot of creamer. I like my coffee like light, like super light colored.
Like a man.
That was just took a turn to another level. Alrighty, we'll see you guys on the next one.
Hit subscribe. We'll see you later.
Ciao.